Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so now. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a favorite stock among many people. That is Purple Group. It is a listed company on the JSE, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. And the reason I want to focus on it today, because I think there is massive opportunity in the share, not only in the short term, but in the long term too. So this video won't be too long. I just want to explain to you what I think is going to happen, how you can benefit from it, and how you can position yourself in a better position to capitalize on this company's growth. So in front of you, you will see I have done technical analysis of Purple Group, and they have been in an uptrend for quite a while. So it's something that's been on my watch list for a long time. I am a shareholder, so I've been holding. I think my average price is around about R1. So I take the opportunity to add as many shares as I can. And this is what I want to show you today. It's an opportunity to add more shares at a lower price if it does drop lower. But I personally believe that it's going to break up and retest the old support line at resistance line at about 165. So we should see a breakout to 165 within the next 2 weeks. So we're looking at about a 14% return within the next 2 weeks. Now, this is not guaranteed. And also, I just want to remind you that this isn't financial advice. And you should always consult with a professional financial advisor before you make any financial decisions. Now, with that being said, let's have a look. And you can see, I think it was on the 3rd of June, Purple Group broke out. Originally, it tested this first resistance line in April, 22nd of April, and then it just consolidated. You'll see Purple Group breaks out, consolidates for a while, and then breaks out further. So that's been the trend for many months already. And I think that is set to continue. The euphoria around the stock it's at an all-time high. The company has a great runway ahead for growth. And they are signing new partnerships with banks, possibly even telecommunications companies through Sanlam, etc. That's just speculation at the moment. But there is a lot of potential with this stock. So we'll see that we broke out on the 3rd of June. So May, June, about a month and a half, just over a month later, when it tested that first resistance line at 136, which will now act as a strong support. And it consolidated. And on the 2nd of June, it broke out. You can see this massive rally. And it tested 165. So R1.65 a share. And ever since the 10th of June, it's been sort of trending downwards. But now this, you shouldn't fear this. This is just a natural process. We call it consolidation before it breaks out again. So this is very healthy for a stock. Ideally, you wouldn't want to have bought here because you're buying at the high. So whenever you're looking to buy a share, don't buy when it comes on everyone's radar. Wait for initial pullback and then enter. Buy on the red days, and if you're trading, you sell on the green days. So if you had bought here in this consolidation area, you would have offloaded some at 165, and you would have made yourself a decent profit. Now, if you're a long-term holder and you're looking to stack more shares, keep stacking, you are going to buy in these consolidation areas. So while it's been falling from its previous high of 165, you would be buying now. This is an opportunity to accumulate as much as possible in this area. This consolidation here, that's extremely healthy. And if you see this green line and this black line, they meet at this certain point here. So you can see this is a one-day chart. So at the closing of every day, it will put a new candle. So we're looking at about a week or 2 weeks. Within the next 2 weeks, that this share will probably, most likely, break up to the upside. Now, there is a possibility it could break down to the downside. And you can see I've put my risk here. The first loss is at about 7%, which is the previous resistance area, which is now going to act as support. You can see as it's been consolidating, it had this one wick here that just sold off. There must have been a market scare or just someone exiting, a very large buyer, but recovered. Subsequently, it recovered. And it stayed on this support line, this previous resistance line, 135, 136. It tested that, it bounced up, tested it, bounced up. And you can see that that is a strong support zone now. So if there is a breakdown to the bottom and it breaks down, most likely this will act as a strong support, which again is probably an opportunity to load up lower, more on these shares at a lower price, especially if you're holding long term. The biggest downside risk that I see is it going to about 1 Rand 28. So that's a 13% drop from current levels. So you put 10,000 Rand, you're going to lose 1,300 Rand, but that's unrealized. It's just paper losses. Only if you sell do you realize those gains. So both these opportunities here, these support zones are opportunities to load up, because long-term the share it's going up. It's got a long runway, like I mentioned. But let's get back to the point here, why I think it's going to break to the upside. Firstly, because it's got this bullish pennant, this green line on top and this black line at the bottom. You can see it's sticking to that trend line. It's also within an ascending triangle. So this black line here is forming an ascending triangle, which means there's lower lows each time. And that means there's accumulation happening. People are accumulating the shares at this current price. So I think, like me, that's what I've been doing in the 140s. In this zone here from 140, I've been accumulating. Doesn't matter what price, as long as it's under 150, I'm accumulating. Every week I've been buying purple shares for the last few weeks. And I believe that it will break out. And the first resistance zone is going to be at about 154. That will be the first resistance zone where people might sell out, take some profits. But it's going to break out of this green zone here to the upside because it's a bullish pennant. That is this formation that you see. It's in an uptrend, and I think it's going to break. So whether it breaks and pushes up past this green line to this black resistance zone, as long as it stays above the bottom black line, then it's going to be putting in higher lows, which means there's still strong accumulation. People are accumulating at that price. So a low, yeah, a higher low, and it might test that 154, 1 Rand 54 resistance zone and pull back a little bit again, and it's going to set another higher low, and then it will break out eventually. So depending on the strength of it, if it breaks out of this bullish pennant, it might shoot straight up to 165, or it might just shoot up to about 154 and then consolidate sideways for a few more weeks. But as long as it stays above that black trend line, then it's going to form an ascending triangle. So there's two bullish formations here to show you that the stock is in it's going to break out. As you can see what it does from previous cycles, it pushes up, consolidates, pushes up, consolidates, pushes up. So there's no indication here to show me that I should be shorting the stock or taking profits, trimming profits, because like I said, the headwinds and the tailwind that it's got behind it is very strong. It's got a long runway for growth and there's massive opportunity. So if you're a long-term investor, this worrying about a few cents here and there is probably, it doesn't matter in the long term. So buying at 146 or buying at 140, 144, it doesn't make much difference, especially if it breaks out. So this could be an opportunity. In the lower 40s, you might not see that share price at that level for some time again if it breaks out. So I continue to accumulate. And this will be a fun share to watch. I hope you can come back to the video, come to TradingView, and you can see my analysis. And we can actually see if Purple Group is going to stick to their cycle, what they've been, the uptrend of breaking out, consolidating, breaking out, consolidating, breaking out. Now, obviously, the share is, there's value and price. What the intrinsic value is of the share is anyone's guess, because it's arbitrary. You can use different numbers and different figures to decide what your fair value is, and then you discount it, and then you give yourself a safety margin, and whatever number that is, that could be the intrinsic value. But people are willing to pay now for this growth stock, so they're paying for their future income. So I believe that we could be looking at about between R1.80 and R2 by the end of the year. So there's still between 10 and 30% upside this year that I believe the stock will return. So at these levels is a great time to accumulate. On the downside, if you are trading the share and you aren't in it for long term, but you're looking to make quick cash, entering at these levels will still be a good entry, because if it is in a bullish pennant and a 4-minute ascending triangle, there's a high chance that it breaks up to the upside. So you're looking at a 14% return. So throwing down a 10K could get you 1,400 in profits, and you have to be willing to risk up to 700 Rand or 1.2. But again, even if you're trading and it drops to those first support lines, you could dollar cost average in, bring your share price a little bit lower, maybe to about 136, 135, depending on where you buy. And I believe it will recover back and retest this high 165, R1.65. So this is probably a golden opportunity to get some shares, trading, buying long-term. I believe the reward outweighs the risk here. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope there's some knowledge in that. Please come back to it, keep track of it. And please remember that this is not financial advice. This is just my own analysis and my own trading and investment that I'm doing. And this should only be used for educational purposes. So I'd like to thank you for joining me in this video, and I'll see you next week. And I ask for one favor: if I have given you any value over the last few weeks or in this video, please subscribe if you haven't done so, and share a video with a family member or a friend. So from me, I'll see you next week. Bye for now.